Hi students, how are you? I hope you are doing very well. Okay, so you are going to learn about reported speech 3, focusing on modal auxiliaries. Okay, let's check it out. In reported speech 3, I will give positive and negative form. This is the positive form. So some modal verbs that change tense in reported speech are must becomes had to for obligation or must for speculation. May becomes might for possibility or could for permission. Can becomes could. Will becomes would. Shall becomes should. Has or have to becomes had to. Modal verbs that do not change in reported speech are could, might, ought to, should, and would. This is the negative form. If you find these modal verbs in negative form, so you can change the modal verbs in reported speech like this. Must not becomes had not to or hadn't to, or must not, mustn't. May not, might not, or mightn't. Could not, couldn't. Cannot becomes could not or couldn't. Will not becomes would not or wouldn't. Shall not becomes should not or shouldn't. And doesn't or don't have to becomes had not to or hadn't to. And these are the modal verbs that do not change in reported speech. Although we put not or although it is in negative form. So the modal verbs remain the same. Could not, couldn't, might not, mightn't, ought not to, oughtn't to, should not, shouldn't, would not, wouldn't. These are the examples in the direct speech and indirect speech. She said, I must eat a healthy diet. This is an obligation. So the indirect speech becomes, she said that she had to eat a healthy diet. It must be awful to live in such a noisy place, she said. This is a speculation. And it becomes, she said, it must be awful to live in such a noisy place. The modal verb remains the same. Next, they said, we may buy a car. This is a possibility. And the indirect speech becomes, they said that they might buy a car. So we change the subject we into they. And next, you may wait in the hallway, he said. This is a kind of permission, so the indirect speech becomes, he said we could wait in the hallway. Next, David said, I can speak 5 languages. The indirect speech becomes, David said that he could speak 5 languages. Joe said, I will fix the plug. And the indirect speech, Joe said that he would fix the plug. He said, if nuclear energy is used mistakenly, we shall die. He said that if nuclear energy is used mistakenly, we should die. And then she said, my brother has to hit the books. The indirect speech becomes, he told me, or he said that her brother had to hit the books. And next, okay, so the direct speech, she said I could cook some food. The indirect speech, the same. We can change like this. She said that she could cook some food. And then they said we might go to a cinema. The indirect speech is they told me, or they said that they might go to a cinema. And then he said I ought to start a business. The indirect speech is he said that he ought to start a business. Carl said I should not waste my time. The indirect speech, Carl said that he should not waste his time. And then Jill said I would decorate the walls. And the indirect speech becomes Jill said that he would decorate the walls. Let's practice. There are 5 questions and you are asked to guess the answers. Ready? Start, please. Okay, so check your answers. All right. Done. This is your task and write in the volume. You are asked to choose 2 sentences in the direct speech and change them into indirect speech or reported speech. Also, pay attention if there is an adverb. Please recall the material in reported speech 1, especially on adverbs. These are the sentences in the direct speech. Alright, so that's all about reported speech 3, focusing on modal auxiliaries. If you have any questions or comments, just share your questions or comments in the forum. Thank you for watching and see you.